Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, we've just become Italy, and we're working on fixing all of the problems that are arising from combining a bunch of countries together in a so ragged a fashion. Ooh, and we got torrential rains. That's fun. One thing I want to do, so we're working on building up governance capacity so that we can get our money situation fixed. It's not going to be fully fixed, but it's going to be better than it currently is. And this should be enough to get us there. We're building railways in Piedmont and Savoy, and I just realized I need to check where else we need railways. Because my part of Italy has been a lot better managed than the AIs, I suspect. Alright. Yep. Here we are. Oh my gosh, we're actually going to need more in Piedmont. And then we're going to need some in Emilia as well. So I'll throw those in there. Maybe... Are these both Savoy? Weird. Okay, this one's Savoy, and I'm a quarter of the way done. I'm gonna let it go. It'll be good. We'll do it. So I think once that's done, the priority is actually iron mines, because iron is really rough in the customs union right now, in the market right now. Or it was a minute ago. Yeah, iron. Yes, iron is very expensive. So we're definitely going to need to produce more iron. Where are we building those iron mines? We're building them in... A few in Savoy. Yeah, it's fine to put them in Savoy. A few in Tuscany and one in Calabria. That should be fine. And that's nearly the end of my government administration. Come on, homesteading. Nice! 40.8, we're close. Shortage of mana wars, not particularly a priority for me right now. Getting there, getting there. Economy is quite large. We're in 7th place in the Great Powers, which is nice. One more week. Alright, we are developing a little bit of a bureaucracy buffer. Not enough engines. Why are you not running, my lad? Where are you? Where are they? They're here. Because steel is too expensive. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. We'll just have to do our best with it. Where is steel in the price ratings? We need to be in the market price sort. Yeah, they're up there. We got steel mills under construction. Let's get those iron mines up above, interspersed with these railways. We'll throw the naval bases all the way at the bottom, and then we'll get the steel mills after that, and then we'll throw the naval bases at the bottom again. And we'll get the fertilizer plants in after them, and then maybe sometime in the course of this, we'll have an economy that functions. We are positive on bureaucracy at this point, which means that our institution, our home affairs institution, can keep growing, and that's going to make things a lot easier. In terms of radicals and loyalists, we're doing pretty well. We've got a very solid spread of loyalists, so I'm feeling pretty good. Man War is going down in price, alright. We got some decisions available. Oh, I can move the capital to Rome. Italian capital state moves to Lazio. Lazio gets restored Rome. Extra migration attraction and government structures throughput for 5 years. So how well built up is Rome? Is Lazio? It's not a great capital. But we'll make it a great capital. I'm gonna do it. I think this is reasonable. We'll do it. Now Rome is our capital, just as it is the historic capital of Italy. And now it's not going to hurt nearly so bad if we trade this territory to France. But we don't have to trade this territory to France. Is Savoy an entire state? It is. I thought it was a split state, but it's not. And then Provence were split between France and whatnot. Excellent. Getting higher chances with homesteading. This is the game running a little bit slow, by the way. That's not a you problem. Alright, perfect. Rally in Piedmont is getting done. I say as I Take a huge slurp of root beer. Let's put the railway back up at the top the way we were doing with the others. Yeah, that's good. Maybe we won't build as many mines in Savoy. Maybe we'll build them somewhere else. Where's a good place for mining? Where's a good place for mining iron? Well, I'm past the iron mines. Let's see. Savoy? Where is Savoy? Savoy is here. That's the place that I was talking about. Calabria. Calabria is here. Mines in Calabria are having a hard time hiring. Tuscany. We'll build more of them in Tuscany. That's what we want to do. And we'll throw all of these at the bottom after the iron mines. So good at things. Now, let's take this down a bit and just take a look at our market and what we need. We need a lot more iron still. We need a lot more paper still. More hardwood. Alright, so we'll increase hardwood production with some of these logging camps. That's one thing I can handle right away. Put the ones in Umbria and Campania over to hardwood production, and we'll see how that changes the hardwood price. Okay, hardwood and wood are basically close to equally scarce to one another. Fertilizer is a little bit scarce, but not as scarce as I was expecting it to be. Furniture is quite scarce, but luxury furniture is scarce, but not as scarce as it could be. We are trading some to the international market there, so I'm not super worried about that. How's glass? Where's glass here? Because glass is going to define how my glassworks are going to function. Okay, glass is right here near porcelain. But all of our glass is being consumed internally, which makes sense. That's completely fine. I'm completely okay with that. Sort by market price again. Come on. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of a shortage of oil. We've got a lot of pops consuming oil, and a lot of it being brought in from trade centers. I don't love that. Do we have any capacity for whaling? Doesn't seem like it. Can people please heat their houses with... Well, I guess coal is also expensive in our market. And that's part of why that's happening. I need to improve my mine methods. Okay, so I think I know where our next port of call is, once we got dialectics, is we need to do the mining methods. Water tube boiler is actually... Oh, no we don't, because that's the last one we can do before dynamite, and dynamite is at level 3, and we gotta finish all of this other garbage first. Alright, so... How are we in military? We're not where I would like to be. Beautiful. And there is homesteading. Excellent. Let's go to triage after well, let's do logistics and then go to triage. And then after that, I might knock out the rest of the tier 2s and snag breech loading artillery. I think that's what I'm going to do. This is very early to be rushing up to the breech loading artillery, but it's worth it. That'll keep us on the bleeding edge militarily. So let's see, what else? Investment pool is at a good point. It's draining, but it's not completely being run out. I am going to need to stop building eventually here, but I can finish out with what's in the queue right now, and then take another look at things. Obviously, I've got a lot of iron mines under construction, but that's what's got to happen. I'm a little bit over on... Okay, hold on. Event. On the mode of communication of cholera. The source of a cholera outbreak in Turin has been traced by an ingenious surgeon apothecary. In the midst of sawing a man's leg off, this has led to great advancements in the field of public health. The results of the inquiry, then, is that there have been no particular outbreak or prevalence of cholera in this part of London except among the persons who are in the habit of drinking the water of the above-mentioned pump well. In consequence of what I said, the handle of the pump well was removed the next day. We need to keep the filth off the streets, 3.5k progress towards modern sewerage and extra mortality. Our epidemiology is a promising field, same mortality penalty, 3.5k progress towards pharmaceuticals. Let's do the modern sewerage one. Modern sewerage provides extra infrastructure, and that's really good. Is France still antagonistic? France. How could you do this? Stop being weird. Don't make it weird. Good friends with a lot of people. Shortage of engines still. France expelled our diplomats. France. Would you dial it back, please? Maybe I should rival them. Maybe I should rival them. How would it be? Let's say... I wish I understood what trade privileges are. Okay, so Austria doesn't want just trade privileges. Ooh. Austria would do a defensive pact, but the thing is, I want to take those states. Gosh darn it. Austria's got states of mine, and they're full of Italians, and they should be part of our country. Yeah, here we go. So we got Lombardy, Venice. This area's got a North Italian minority. Ooh, corporate charters. Ooh, excellent. We can found companies. And Dalmatia's got a North Italian minority. But at the very least, I want Venice and Lombardy back. Those areas are quite clearly part of Italy. Diplomatic ties lost with the United States. That's sad. Do I have more interests? I do. I have quite a few now. Hey, there's water tube boiler. Wonderful. So, let's declare a few in various areas. There we go. That should allow us to do what we wish. So, now, I need to expand mining. And in order to make that happen, let's go ahead and enable... I'm just going to max out the sulfur mine methods, and we'll see what's what. Iron mines and coal mines are maximally productive right now. So I feel like that's still the right call overall. Now, what does that do to our markets? It's going to make tools more expensive. It's going to make explosives more expensive. Iron is not down to, you know, clean levels, but it's reasonable now. I think I'm still going to finish out the rest of these iron mines. I think it's still the right call to build those. Now, let's take a look at what's changed in our politics. Parties are still the same. Can't really get a better, higher level of legitimacy than I've currently got. Angelo Carniani is still in charge. When do we have an election? We have an election in 55. That's soon. Actually, the cycle should be starting pretty soon, just in a week or so. And then we're going to see how the parties realign. So let's get going a little faster. I should establish a company. Election? There's all my interests activating. Just 180. Oh, it's not till... Oh, no, it's another year. I'm silly. Alright, so our politics are going to be fine. Yes, 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 yes. Notifications, notifications, notifications. Improve relations with the USA, improve relations with Mexico. Could we go after some countries to get a subject state or two? I'm wondering. What if I went after IT? Oh, though I don't have an interest there. Never mind. Maybe eventually. Anything else I want to do with my politics? Now that I've got full control of the whole shish kebab. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Could go to elected bureaucrats for reduced bureaucracy costs. Could go to appointed for more taxation capacity. Let's go to appointed bureaucrats. It's going to piss off the landowners, but I don't know that I really care about them. Positivist movement's going to be happy about it. Let's do it. Landowners can oppose it, but they're not going to actually, like, do anything. So that'll be just fine. Very high success chance, very high advance chance. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's take a look at our armies. Right, a 10-6-3 army. I'm going to throw one unit of cavalry in here. And then this army is a 39-8-8 army. Well, let's get rid of these under-leveled conscript infantry units. And I think I want to fill out the infantry here, and then the rest. So that's 40. So if I throw another 16 artillery in here, this will be a 40-32... No, another 24 cavalry. A 40-32-8 army. That'll be good. Yeah, I'm just going up to round numbers now. How many is that? 17. That's 23. I need 2 more. Perfect. Very nice. I know I don't really have the money for a military expansion, but you gotta understand, like, a lot of these costs are from construction. And I'm paying some amount of interest, so, you know, paying some subsidies on the railways. What am I subsidizing? Ports. Well, I guess that makes sense. I should be paying for ports. That's normal. Those are government buildings in the baseline build of the game. Let's build an explosives factory in Rome. Building fertilizer plants in Tuscany, I think that's still the right call. It's a good place to build fertilizer plants. And there is dialectics. So that will allow us to upgrade our universities. They're going to cost a little more, but they're also going to generate additional innovation, and that's good. Organized crime. Criminal organizations have begun operating in Sicily. My brother, if you think it just began here in 1854, you're a fool. It doesn't matter if we arrest one person or solve one crime. It will keep going unless we go all the way to the top. Put some funds into stamping out the organizations. It's going to cost us money, or I'm sure the authorities can handle it. Reduce authority. Do I want this authority for anything? The authority is worth more than... No, the authority is not worth more than the cash. Don't try to tell me it is. I'm sure the authorities can handle it. Am I spending on any... campaigns? I am. I don't think I need these campaigns anymore. I don't need to promote immigration to these areas specifically. Maybe I'll put a... Yeah, I'm going to put a Greener Grasses campaign in Rome, my capital. And that'll be what we'll do. And then we'll use the other authority. We'll use a little bit of authority to do one more consumption tax. Let's tag... Could do coal for a little bit of extra. But no, I don't want to. I don't have enough coal. I don't want to make it further difficult to get. Grassroots support for the laws. This is for appointed bureaucrats. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for appointed bureaucrats is spread like wildfire across Italy, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. So, our two options are public enthusiasm expedites reform, stronger positivist movement permanently, intelligentsia stronger for 5 years, or use this common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower sternum pops in Sardinia become more loyalist. I don't necessarily want a stronger positivist movement. I'm a democratic republic right now. So we'll say use this common ground to calm the masses. It's the loyalists are not everywhere, but there sure are a lot of them. And that's going to make life a lot easier. We're very nearly there with our explosives. There's still a lot of work to do in our market here. Here we go. The Philosophy Department. We've secured funding for philosophy departments in all of our institutions of higher learning. The University of Tuscany has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialectics. Now that we're more or less seated, we can begin. Everything you do at this institution begins and ends with this portmanteau. Philo, meaning the love of, and Sophia, meaning wisdom. The love of learning and thought is what philosophy is. Underpinning philosophy is the outlook by which we perceive life, the world, everything, in essence. We can't necessarily teach you how to do a specific task here. What we can do is teach you how to learn and how to think about learning on your own. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, extra university building throughput, or investigate dialectical materialism, extra progress towards socialism. Let's get the extra throughput. I don't necessarily find myself choked on level 3s in society. Like if I were getting it towards like realism, that might be something, because that would get me towards my love steel frame buildings sooner. Gosh, I wonder if it's better to go to steel frame buildings before I go to breech loading artillery. It's early. I could rush steel frame buildings, but no, I don't think so. What's my max innovation? I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close to that maximum innovation. Let's build up the university in Lazio. And then we'll be... How much infrastructure we got here? Oh, we're just fine. We're going to build up this university here. I keep saying I'm gonna stop building once I finish with this. And that'll get me out of debt, but the thing is, I love increasing the size of my everythings. My economy is growing. It's growing really fast, actually. I think part of it is my construction sector is a little bit oversized. See, here's the thing: when you're running interventionism, you have to oversize your construction sector and then have periods of downtime where you're not building, in order to let the investment pool kind of finish out and take the reins of the economy, so that you can have your periods where you're not just amassing ginormous debts. Our credit limit is 22 million right now, which is a very, very respectable amount. But that 4K in interest is not making me a happy cat. Hey, nice. We're up to study for appointed bureaucrats. Wonderful. I'll never stop making the landowners mad. It's basically my hobby, and I love it. They've almost gotten over the whole. They've gotten over the whole universal suffrage thing. They've almost gotten over right of assembly. They're still mad about guaranteed liberties, and they're still extremely mad about homesteading. But, you know, they're not really going to do anything about it because they don't have an absolutist movement. So, I guess they have a reactionary movement, but the reactionary movement doesn't really care about most of that stuff. Yeah, reactionary movement's only about they like national supremacy. They would prefer a theocracy or a monarchy. And they like migration controls, and that's it. That's interesting. This guy, the former king here, trying to get us back to monarchy. I'm wise to your tricks, Carlo Alberto. Franco-Provençal national political movement has formed. They're very small. They're gone. Oh, political movement disbanded. Haha, that's very funny. Massino Blanc retires. Oh boy. So... Oh, I thought he was the head of the, these guys. Never mind. Oh, no, he was, but he's been replaced by a different radical. That's fun. Industrial-grade materials. The industrialists find the high price of steel in the capital an impediment to their ambitions and would like us to prioritize importing it. My business associates abroad say I run my business with an iron fist. It may sound intimidating, but it is in fact a rather humiliating joke at my expense. They're looking to imply that I'm getting rusty. We must find a source of this vital material for the modern age, set up steel import. Or their ambitions should be first to make steel, not use it. I'm going to go with the second one. I don't know if this is going to be completable in the current patch. So we'll go with the second one. Alright, there we go. I saw that standard of living thing, decreased thing pop up. Don't think I didn't, but I'm good. Qing attitude worsened. Are we aware of each other? Let's be better friends. British Raj. Let's hope that doesn't last too long. Austrians are beating the snot out of the Ottoman Empire once again. Cash flow's looking a little better, but only for a second. Hey, there's logistics. Wonderful. Can I get more, like, minting and stuff? Actually, do I have gold mines anywhere? Oh, I forgot to do that. There we go. We're gonna get... I forgot to go back to that. Now we got even more transport. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Ippolito Guillet, leader of the intelligentsia, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of appointed bureaucrats. Making an appearance before the public in Rome's main square, Ippolito Guillet's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Italy, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, 15% enactment chance, or performances like this reflect well on Ippolito Guillet and his cause. 10% enactment chance, he becomes more popular, intelligentsia stronger. I'm going to go with the second one. I'm feeling very confident in terms of my ability to pass appointed bureaucrats. I don't think an additional 5% is necessarily going to make that big of a deal, but having stronger intelligentsia is generally good. These guys will potentially let me get up to some weird chicanery. I don't think I can go to cooperative ownership while I'm a republic, necessarily. Nah, you have to have council, republic, or corporate state. It's interesting. Just a little thought. Not that I would necessarily go to cooperative ownership in 1855, but it's, you know, it's an idea. It's an idea. It's something I've been kicking around. Something I've been thinking about. Something I've been mulling over. I think militarily what would be ideal for me is to have another larger army, or another smaller army, but we'll see. The good old days. Oh, here we go. Look at this. When invited to give a speech on behalf of the right, Carlo Alberto di Savoia began extolling the virtues of a strong home, strong borders, and strong men. The public reception was mixed. Truly, I dare say, the men are no longer men. They are coddled with books, as if they're any substitute for real adventure. Their mothers swaddle them in cotton and silk, only for them to be henpecked by their wives. And heaven forbid they take a pint of beer. One sip, and they need their fathers to carry them home. Won't someone think of the children? Extra momentum to the right. A rhetoric cannot disguise what Di Savoia wants. To be king again, jerk. Minus 30% momentum. Reduced popularity for Carlo Alberto di Savoia. I'm gonna go with the second one. I mean, that's just so very funny. That the guy who was actually ruling the country and creating all that wave of mass radicalism not 5 years ago is the guy who's making the speeches on behalf of the right. So where are things now? Far left has got mega momentum. Industrialists have bailed out of the far left into the left. Far left is petite bourgeoisie and rural folk now, and left is going to be joined by the intelligentsia once that happens. So after the government reform, we'll boot out the left and we'll stay with the far left. Commander commends civic coalition. General Guglielminetti. What's his first name? General Giacomo Guglielminetti has made public statements in support of the far left, bringing into question the political neutrality of the military. He's a radical aligned with the rural folk. It's my duty to defend the nation and its interests. Politics is as much a part of war as battles and logistics are. I don't see the problem with doing my duty, doing what I can to make sure those who are best fit to protect the nation end up being the ones in charge. He can say what he wants, extra momentum to the far left. Reprimand him, good soldiers don't give orders, they take them. 5% of officers in Italy become more radical. Or if he likes politics so much he ought to get more involved, he becomes the head of the rural folk. I'm going to do the first one. I don't necessarily need him leading the rural folk. The rural folk are already headed up by a by a radical who is currently leading the country. So it shouldn't be a problem. We're waffling back and forth between 6th and 7th position. United States is kind of trying to catch up on us. That's probably going to lead to them developing an anti-Italian lobby. So we'll see how we can deal with that. Let's see if we can get ourselves a free trade deal. They don't want it. Britain doesn't want one. What about Prussia? Trade privileges, trade privileges. Hey, there we go. 25% chance they'll say yes. Can I sweeten the deal? Doesn't seem like it. Nothing I want to necessarily give them. Let's send it. Excellent. The Frosinone Agreement. Wonderful. What about Russia? There are things they would certainly like. But can I use all this to get a defensive pact? I could. They don't necessarily want trade privileges under these circumstances. So they're more likely with this. What can we... Can I get anything? Maybe a little bit of cash? Bit of money? Not much. Not too small an amount, actually. Can we make it a nice even 5%? Gonna use the click and drag function. I think I can. Oh, only 10% chance. Hold up. There's only 4%, 65% chance they'll say yes. But is it wise to give them investment rights? And maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just give them a power block embassy. They'll give us military assistance. That's just fine. And then just a little bit of cash. Nah, I don't think that's going to work. And they will say yes under these circumstances. Send it. Nice. The Declaration of Moscow. Very nice. And Appointed Bureaucrats is over to voting, which is also nice. Alright. We'll just go until the election happens. So the election's going to be in July, right? Yeah. In July. And then we'll call the episode. That'll be just fine. Okay, so I got myself some good stuff. Ottomans do not like me. Let's be rivals, Ottomans. I don't like you either. Egypt is very happy with us. Why don't we draft a treaty? Offer embassy. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Embassy for cash? What's your chance of saying yes now? 75%? It's not that much. Let's do it. Excellent. Campaign financing. Parties, particularly the right, are struggling to raise enough funds for all their campaigning needs this election. Let's see what you men are charging. Fees, yes, that's to be expected. But what's this lodging charge? A fancy hotel room could house half a village. And there's enough wine billed here to drown a fish. Votes don't come cheap, sir. You do want to win, right? Some money can be spared for them. Extra momentum for the right, extra government expenses. Every party can be provided with basic funding this election cycle. Larger government expenses, opposition interest group approval, or if a party can't afford a campaign, should it be campaign, reduce momentum. I'm going to do the third one. I do not want the landowners and their stupid party getting stronger. Stupid landowners, get out of here. Stop owning land. Especially you, King Carlo Alberto. You ruined my country once, and I will not forgive you. Nearly there. Nearly at our election. I could form a company. I think I'm going to look into that next episode, so I'll take some time at the beginning of... before I get started to figure out exactly what I want to do with this company. Because I could potentially get up to some really interesting things. I think we got a company that can produce special silk. Because we've got some silk plantations. Yeah, oh, actually, we've got a lot of places we can produce silk. Oh, that's very cool. Wonderful. I don't need to, I could put up subventions for export. That'd be nice. Let's do that. And the Italian-French Society is disbanded because the only people who cared about them were marginalized. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So the intelligentsia are now fully marginal, and the industrialists are in the far left. That's quite curious. I must have misread that. That's quite curious. Well, we'll be getting to hereditary bureaucrats soon enough then. With that having been said, that is all we've got time for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.